If anybody that is walking to the ring to fight Vader, if they don't tell you they're anxious, they're lying.
Let's talk about the big man. I've been looking forward to talking to this with you. For those that follow us on social media, you've seen the graphic, and the picture is you, Flair, and Vader together. You faced him in late 1993, and now you're paired together against Hogan, Savage, and the makeshift Ultimate Warrior and the Renegade. How did you feel, if you can recall back in these days, thinking, "Hey, you're going to be with Vader and Flair now as a trio"?
I'd rather have Vader on my team than be standing across the ring from him.
No doubt.
It was no picnic, pal. He would beat the ever loving crap out of you. It's not like you could just outmuscle him and overwhelm him. I mean, he was 400, maybe 50 pounds at one point. Does that sound right?
Oh, that sounds about right. You could go higher than that, and I would agree with you. He was a beast, and he could do things that no man his size could do. You're talking moonsaults, Arn. We've covered it here on the show, covering some of his matches. An incredible athlete. He did have a stellar career in Japan as a tag team wrestlers. And, you and I both have heard stories about his tag matches. It's like a collision, two freight trains. Did you and Vader, when you worked together as a tag team, did you guys work seamlessly, or was it like you trying to steer a boulder through a china shop?
I just tried to live through it.
Yeah.
My goal of going to the ring was just live through this.
Right.
Tomorrow, everything will feel a lot different. Right now, if anybody that is walking to the ring to fight Vader, if they don't tell you they're anxious, they're lying.
Did you ever feel like you were tagging with a tank? And did you ever worry that he might accidentally steamroll you during the match? I mean, Arn, listen, did you find yourself ducking out of the way more often than you'd like to admit? I mean,
I'll admit it.
Yeah.
I would rather be his partner than his opponent, just point blank. There's no, you call it whatever you want, cowardice, whatever, common sense, whatever you want to label it as. That dude was bad news, I'm telling you.
Darren Staley, Arn versus Vader. Or I'm sorry, Andre versus Vader. Who wins and who dies?
Andre was in his youth. Nobody could do anything to Andre that he didn't want him to. But at the very end, his back was so bad, it just depends on what time frame you want to put on it.
Yeah.
But the giant, I can't stress this enough. There was only one giant in this business, a true giant, and that was Andre.
What do you let's talk a little bit more about Vader here. Now he's doing a three-way tag team. Do you think WCW at this point in his career, he was the champion, obviously we've covered it, the early 90s, Sting in that program, but do you think they could have gotten more out of him with Hogan once Hogan arrived? Was there more on the bone that you could have used that big man? Because it was always in the 80s, it was always Hogan versus the big man that drove, the WWF for a while. Big Boss Man, King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant. Obviously, there were others like the Warrior and things like that, but Vince always loved to have those big guys with him. I feel like WCW could have done a little bit more with Vader and Hogan.
Makes you wonder if maybe Paul wasn't quite up to the task he would have been earlier physically. Who volunteers to fight Vader when he's kind of in his prime, right?
Sure.
Hogan, I'm sure, was beat up at that point. I mean, there's money there, of course. Absolutely. Is that a money match? Of course it is. But I don't think, he was stepping up saying, yeah, give me Vader for a 6-month program.
Not only that, I mean, it's well established. Vader's a stiff guy to work with too. I'm not sure how much Hogan wants to have those lunch boxes hitting himself in the head and the turnbuckles every other week or whatever the case is.
Well, with risking the sounding cavalier, that's part of the business. And he lit me up. All I could do is do my best to, I stuck him with a spine buster or two that I lucked out on. I don't think he ever saw that coming. I didn't think he thought it was possible. So I wasn't going to stand up toe to toe and fist fight the guy. You got to get an advantage when you're outmatched. And with him, pretty much everybody was outmatched.
Before we get into Alex Wright, yes, we're going to Das Wonder Kid, Alex Wright next, and we're going to shift gears there. I want to make sure we get to some of our super chat questions. And Tim Angston, who's with us every time we go live. Tim, thank you so much for being here. He said, was the plan at the time to drop the TV title to Renegade in June, or when was that decision made? Arn, I know we're going a long time back here, a lot of cobwebs over the years. Do you recall any of that planning with the TV title and Renegade?
Somebody felt that he needed a shot in the arm and that title would somehow do that. But you got to look at what the TV title was different from every other title, because for it to be its most effective, you had to have a heel champion that was out there that could give you 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever the case would be. And the last 2 or 3 minutes of that was you were sure that guy was going to get beat. And he would just get on his bicycle, whoever it was, me, Tully, Steve Regal, Steve Austin, whoever it was, and those last 2 or 3 minutes of the match, man, you'd be on your roller skates just trying to survive it. Can't do that if you're a baby face and you're on the attack. You know, that's not going to work, that psychology. So it might not have been the right title for him. I mean, I was fine with whatever they wanted to do. He was very green at that time. So it was a challenge.
Speaking of very green, Arn, are you a fan of the Spider-Man movies at all?
No.
So you don't know who the Green Goblin is at all?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. We have a super chat from Albert, and he says, hey, Arn, did you see the spine buster like move the Green Goblin did to Spider-Man and Spider-Man No Way Home? I think William Dafoe did a good job.
William Dafoe stole my move too?
I guess there's no way to trademark a wrestling move.
No,
Can't do that. Huh?
No. It's, I just look at it as I'd have to see it to see, was it kind of spine busterish?
I'm going to need to find a clip of it for you. Or Albert, if you have it, send it to us on social so I can show it to Arn. Would love to see what you have.
Love to see that.
Yeah. All right. One more, and then we'll jump into Wonder Kid. And that is from Angry Duckling Institution. And he has a picture of Chucky. You know Chucky, the horror film?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm a little nervous. My dad used to work with Kirby Puckett's dad, and they gave me a pic of you and the Four Horsemen with Kirby Puckett, black shirt and cap. Kirby's dad, navy blue shirt, white cap, and another guy, purple plaid shirt. Do you remember meeting Kirby Puckett back in the day?
Certainly do.
Nice.
I'm a sports fan, and Kirby Puckett at that time, around that era, was a hell of a baseball player.
Oh,
and what a nice guy, and a huge wrestling fan. So, I mean, that's one of the things that when I look back at my career that I can say that I've been rewarded by meeting some quality guys, and most of them being athletes, some performers, and different, actors and different stuff, but mostly athletes are marks for each other. I can't hit a curveball, or I'd be playing baseball for 42 years because I love it.
Sure.
Love it, but I can't hit a curveball. So, yeah, what a nice guy. And every time we would go to Minnesota, we'd get him some tickets, and if he wanted to bring his family and whoever, but really super nice human being.
Amy, Arn said he's going to be at RaptorCon Saturday and Sunday. He didn't give specific times, so don't worry that you missed it at the top of the show.